How's it going there, everyone? It's Mr. Zen over here bringing us a brand new anime discussion. And for today's segment, guys, we are going to be talking about another Chinese web comic actually transformed into an anime, in which I thought this anime had a very lot of similarities on a certain popular anime that I thought. And it literally felt very similar to Naruto in some aspects, but after watching this anime, it kind of started going and doing its own thing, and I started seeing that this anime, wow, it was actually a pretty well written anime. Honestly, the main character really is one of its own type of characters, and honestly, he isn't an overpowered character. It's just that this character seems very, very, very motivated, as we kind of see. But for this segment, guys, I'm going to be talking about episodes 1 through 5 of, give me a second, because this one, it took me a while to actually learn the name of this anime, but it's called Reikaisen Hoshikuzu Taichi no Utage. I swear, it's freaking hilarious. I was like literally trying for 5 minutes, like, how do you pronounce this? Trust me, I'm still trying to learn. But as like how us English speakers call it, or the Japanese I think they call it Spirit Blade Mountain, I believe. But honestly, guys, this anime really was actually well looked at, and thank you for another YouTuber who actually recommended it. I actually liked this anime. I really did. And honestly, episodes 1 through 5 was actually entertaining due to the fact that in the first episode, it was kind of giving us a little bit of exposition as to how the world setting is and what's going to go on with the main character. And apparently it seems like the gods, they actually they're having like some sort of entrance exam for all these sages or sages in training in order to be selected to the gods realm, I'm assuming. But apparently these kids, they have to be kids also, by the way. They can't be like no older than 12. So basically, it's kind of like a Jedi mind trick where they're kind of going along and saying, okay guys, we're going to start training you, but we're going to do a selection exam the minute you guys enter this certain town. And the thing about that was really hilarious is the fact that the tests already started the minute they enter this certain place, and a lot of contestants didn't even know if the test began. It seems like the gods themselves have been already eyeing people the minute they are coming in towards to take the exam. They're just getting rid and weeding out the people. But I did like that episode 1 kind of showed a little bit of the main character, her actual sidekick character, and then we got a little bit exposition on other characters that we've been showing around. Like I said, it's kind of hilarious how they're kind of going it, but at the same time, it's pretty well written out, honestly. And the way that then episode 2 then goes about, it kind of they start taking the trials. They have to cross this Golden Gate Bridge, and in the Gate Bridge, they kind of stumble upon themselves. I believe on this bridge, they have to figure out how to get across it. But apparently, not crossing the Golden Gate Bridge is not even, it's like 1/10 of the exam. Apparently, they have to get water from this certain well, and apparently from the well, they had to basically kind of like give an exchange and offering to the gods, because what this well was like, basically like an alchemy transforming like well, that if you throw in dirt or any of the 5 elements, it will transform it to its opposite element. So like if you give it, well, I don't think you can throw in fire. I don't think fire won't turn nothing. Maybe glass, if you throw it in the water, maybe it would liquefy once it comes out. Not too sure, but honestly though, the anime though was a little bit explicit on the specific part. Was basically they had to get the gold from the bridge, because it was literally a golden bridge, and they have to kind of excavate it and throw it in this well, and it would turn the gold into water. People thought that they had to get the water, but if they take the water, it necessarily wouldn't really come, because it has to be an offering. You can't take it. It has to be offered to you, because there's a little part of the well that kind of sanctioned off. Like I said though, it's kind of hilarious how a lot of them were kind of going at it, but the main character Oriko, this like a really smart, intelligent character, he doesn't seem, like I said, he doesn't seem overpowered. He seems normalized, but it's just that he likes to use his brain a lot. And that's the thing I like about those certain type of characters, guys, is that they use their brain a lot. They actually stand out amongst their peers, and they see them as like, oh, he's so strong, oh my god, he's legend. No, it's just that he's using his brain. That's all that it really is. But honestly though, the episodes then traverse into, then at the second stage, they have to basically, like I said, they have to bring the water from the Golden Gate Bridge, and then from there they kind of I like how they kind of translate like everything that they're all doing leads back to from the first actual assignment. And even remember when I told you guys that they actually when they came into the town that where the sages are selecting, even right there and then, all the characters that were involved from episode 1, they still transverse them into the next stage, because in the second stage after passing the Golden Gate Bridge, you see that these characters that they have to I believe once they bring the water, they get offered food, and in exchange for the food that they get, it depends on how much water they brought. And since Oriko, the main character, brought so much water, he got a nice fancy dinner. Like I said, like all these events are all transpiring around the characters, that everything that they do and every action does lead to a certain consequence. But all the characters, like I said, there are some characters that are like, I would say these like comic relief characters, Un, Shi, and Ri, I believe they were. Sha, Un, Ri, yeah, I was right. These characters, they were basically the comic relief characters that started getting involved more. Then we get involved with Sushin. Sushin was more of a character that was like a heist prestige. And by the way, oh yeah, most of these kids that have been selected for these, like I would say this godlike stage, they basically are kind of like high kings and queens or princesses, and you're here wondering like, wow, you know, these people aren't necessarily normal people that aren't going. Like I said, in the first stage, you kind of weeded out all the, you can say the lowly commoners, and like basically all the kings and queens that have been living a prestigious life. They're already guided themselves way ahead of everybody else. Like I said, it's kind of hilarious how they kind of went up, but it seems like it's like a rich man's game. Just think of the Rockefeller just having an all-out game. All right, guys, we're gonna bring in all the rich people in, but if you guys invite any of the local commoners, don't worry, man. We got already a thing to actually take these guys out. Don't worry. Just bring anybody you want. Like I said, it's kind of funny how the gods are doing this kind of game. It's like basically these gods themselves, they're trying to pick who is right to be trained as the next sage. And by the way, there's like this magical power that's like the divine like aura that's like all around us, like ki. They talk about ki later on in the episodes, but it starts getting more entertaining to the fact that, like I said, that the stages themselves get more and more complicated. Like I said, it reminded me a little bit of Naruto where they're doing these stages, but the thing about it was that they really had to use their brains. There was no fighting whatsoever in the first 3 stages. After like the 4th stage, when they have to fight like this giant ice buffalo / mammoth, that's when they actually start fighting and have to use their own skills in order to pass on the test. But that was irrelevant to what they had to do all of it beforehand. Like I said, they had to use their brains and do that. But like I said, I did like the 3rd stage where they actually had to be trapped in the village and had to use the power of communication in order themselves to get out. They had to communicate with the village, and they had to actually help out the village. Like I said, it was very entertaining to see how each of the characters was going about, because at that stage, that's when they started weeding out what kind of character was where and when. Like I said, the main character, Oriko, he was the last one to leave the village. Yes, he left the village because the fact that he actually wanted to get the most points, and getting the most points when you lead on to the next stage will give you like this fancy ass weapon. But the thing about the 3rd stage that I did like was for a fact that you start seeing that Oriko had this certain, you could say servant, you could say his name, I think. It's funny because like his character is very feminine, Ocho, and basically this character has always been following Oriko, but at that stage, that's when they kind of cut ties and said, you know what, it's okay, you don't have to be my servant no more. And that was a very powerful scene right there, due to the fact that you finally saw that Ocho's actual real character develop right there. You saw that she actually had money that Oriko never even knew that he had. You actually saw that he was smiling even while bowing. You saw that like it's all was just a facade to his master. And I was like, oh my god, like that was epic right there. And the minute that he knew, I'm sorry, I keep saying she because I feel like that was a she throughout the whole entire time. Every time they said he, I could never picture that. It's so hilarious. But honestly, when you see this character, you guys are literally would think that, you know, oh, this character is really nice. He's actually really trying to be helped out around. But no, this character has always been malicious. And even this side character as well, I believe his name was Kayunho, even pointed out to actually Oriko that this character, no, it's all bad for business. Don't even trust this character anymore. You should cut ties with it before you actually do get hurt. And I like the character Kayunho, as he seems like the Neji of the series, because he's smart as well, but he's not very powerful in adapting I believe is the key energy. They kind of explain it later on, I believe in episode 5. In episode 5, that's when they kind of start talking about more about the gods' divine energy and everything. That's when they started talking about, because remember, after like, I believe stage 4, like I told you, they fought like the wild buffaloes and everything. It was pretty entertaining, but that was a very quick scene. It was more to emphasize the fact that, like, you know, that it's not all about brains and fighting. No. You guys have to combine everything and work together to defeat their common enemy. But then the gods themselves come down after episode 5. And I believe, episode 4, you start learning more about the gods themselves. And they are actually more inclined to they really are choosing as to who they really like. Not necessarily if they have a certain power, but if they see that this person meets their standards, they really will choose to be their disciples. Because now, the students themselves, they already passed the trials, and now they're actually getting the real, god training themselves. And the thing about this is the fact that the god training themselves, even though they also had a selection test to see how strong their ki or their divine spirit was, and all the main characters that you thought that were from the actual, you thought, the main characters you already thought they were gonna win, no, they are actually got spread out. Sushin got spread out. He's training at, I believe, with some old dude. I forgot his quite name, but he's still one of the prevailing characters. Bunho, he was another comic relief character. He's getting trained with the same teacher, Sushin. Ocho as well. These three that they're getting trained by the same teacher. But you would think that these 3 would actually get picked to be with the lowest tier god, and that's what happened with Oriko. Oriko got trained with the lowest tier god, but Oriko, like I said, this character, he's not a whiny character as how most characters are in shonen or actual protagonists. No, he actually deals with it, and he'll slowly rise the ranks. And I loved about that they kind of explained that while he was talking to his teacher, was the fact that, it doesn't matter how long it'll take, but I'm gonna be doing this either way. But regardless, I will beat my other disciples and how far I will advance. And I kind of see that too, because this character is really determined. And that's the thing about this character, is that he's not as, the whining is not relevant there. That's the thing I love about it. When a character's not whiny, it makes the series so much better, honestly. It really did, and I liked about the series. And most of the characters aren't really necessarily whiny in this series. The only one I believe that was really whining was Bunho, but that's because he's the comic relief character. But other than that, every other character was really strong and determined in their own rightful way. Like I said though, I honestly thought this anime was pretty entertaining. Honestly, and this anime is worth to watch. But I don't know what's going to go on for the rest of the series, as this was a Winter 2016 anime. It's apparently done. But for my next video, I will talk about the rest of the episodes. And like I said, I did love how they were actually going about it with these episodes. Like I said, it was always something different. Some episodes were very full with dialogue, and some of them were full with slight action. But honestly, I believe this anime is more based on looking through an adventure. It's kind of like a Journey to the West kind of thing at the same time. But there's just a little bit of cue and action, near I would say the 4th and 5th episode. That's where the action really kind of starts getting, I would say, fist to fist. So the first couple episodes, no, you guys aren't really gonna be looking at nothing like that. But I thought it was entertaining. The dialogue was still on par with the anime itself. It was still enough to keep you watching, because the characters themselves, the way they interact within each other, that's what kept me motivated to actually keep watching it. But that's it for today's segment, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. But honestly, like I said, this anime is still worth to watch, and thank you again for recommending me this anime. This anime was, like I said, it's still entertaining me. I'm gonna finish it. My next video will probably be the following episodes that will ensue. But honestly, guys, let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought about this anime, and what do you guys think about the main characters so far. Like I said, these main characters, they aren't necessarily bland. It's just that I feel like these main characters, they could actually go more in depth with them, but all of them are still mysterious at the same time as well. They're not going too far, because most of them are just already training. And by the way, most of them are kind of princesses, so it kind of goes on to say that they can't really stretch too far as to what the main characters can go about. But I wonder what else they can talk about. Don't know. But like I said, guys, let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought about this anime. And if you guys enjoy my content, give it a like, comment, share, and subscribe for more fall anime, winter anime, whichever one you want to call it. Check out my playlist for more anime as well. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day. This is Mr. Zen, signing out.